This problem asks for the slope of the polar curve given by 3 minus 2 cosine theta at two different values of theta at 0 and pi over 2. First, we need to get the slope, the derivative, and it's given by this formula. So we have r prime, so this is your f of theta, or r. We can also write it as f prime of theta for the derivative. And the derivative is negative 2 times negative sine theta. So that's going to be 2 sine theta. So writing the formula for the slope, m is equal to f of theta, and that is 3 minus 2 cosine theta times cosine theta plus the derivative of f of theta, which is r prime, and that is 2 sine theta times sine theta, everything divided by the negative of f theta, so it's going to be negative 3 plus 2 cosine theta times sine theta plus the derivative of f, which is 2 sine theta times cosine theta. Simplifying our derivative, we should get 3 cosine theta minus 2 cosine squared theta plus 2 sine squared theta. This will give me negative 3 sine theta plus 2 cosine theta sine theta plus 2 sine theta cosine theta. We can use the identities here. We note that cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta is equal to cosine 2 theta. Also, we can use the identity 2 sine theta cosine theta is equal to sine 2 theta. So, rewriting our derivative now using those identities, we should get 3 cosine theta. We can factor out the 2, and this will give me cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta, which is cosine 2 theta, divided by minus 3 sine theta, and then we have here 2 sine theta cosine theta, 2 sine theta cosine theta, so there are 2 sine 2 thetas. So this is our slope. Now we evaluate the slope at 0. That's our first question. What is the slope at 0? So we have m at 0. We get 3 cosine 0 minus 2 cosine 2 times 0. Everything divided by negative 3 sine 0 plus 2 sine 2 times 0. Cosine 0 is 1, so 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 0 is 0. Cosine 0 is 1. 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Sine 0 is 0 times negative 3 is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. Sine 0 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. So we have here 1 over 0, which is undefined. And so that means the slope is undefined, and that is a vertical line. So there you go. The slope at theta equals 0 is undefined. What about the slope at pi over 2? Here we go. So again, we will simply plug in pi over 2 for theta. So 3 cosine pi over 2 minus 2 times cosine 2 times pi over 2, everything divided by negative 3 times sine pi over 2 plus 2 sine 2 times pi over 2. And what do we get? Cosine pi over 2 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. 2 times pi over 2 is pi. Cosine pi is negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. Sine pi over 2 is 1. 1 times negative 3 is negative 3. 2 times pi over 2 is pi. Sine pi is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. And so we get a slope of negative 2/3.